guys, and thank you so much for joining me. If you are new to my channel, I'm Kat and I like to talk about true crime, conspiracies and all sorts of related things. Let's talk about Bible John. But before we do that, just a quick disclaimer. All the information that I give you in today's video is already in the public domain. I also don't mean any disrespect to anyone I talk about in the video. This is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Thank you so much. So, let's get started. It was 22nd of February 1968 that nurse Patricia Docker planned a night out at a local club called the Majestic Ballroom. Sometime during this evening, she either changed her mind or became persuaded to move on to another club closer to downtown. This club was a much more prominent one for the clubbers of Glasgow of the swinging 60s. The Barrowland Ballroom was hosting an over 25s night that attracted partygoers from all over the city. One of those was a sexual predator who was only there for one reason. The following morning, a man on his way to work found the murdered young woman just behind Carmichael Place, just a few yards away from where Docker lived with her parents. She was raped and strangled. Following the discovery, the investigation began. However, it took detectives several days to establish that the victim ended up at the Barrowland Ballroom. If police would make this breakthrough earlier, perhaps the investigation might have gotten better results. When her body was discovered, Docker's bag and clothes were nowhere to be found at the scene. The detectives assigned to follow up on the missing items worked for several months trying to discover their whereabouts. Neither ever turned up. For the next 18 months or so, police continued to work on their investigation. On 15th of August 1969, their worst fears became reality. Another woman, 32-year-old mother of three, Jemima McDonald, disappeared after a night out at the Barrowland Ballroom. The following morning, rumors reached Jemima's sister Margaret regarding children mentioning something about the body there, at an old building in McKeith Street. The following Monday, 2 days after rumors began and 3 after Jemima was last seen in the company of a red-haired young man, Margaret became concerned enough to look for her sister. Margaret headed for the building at the heart of the rumors and discovered her sister's body. Like Docker, the previous year, McDonald was raped and strangled. Unlike Docker, McDonald was fully clothed and was badly beaten by her killer. Door-to-door inquiries found a possible witness to the murder, a local woman who remembered hearing screams coming from the same building. The police could not establish the time of the scream. Eventually, the police realized they couldn't do much with the little information they had. They wound down the investigation. On Halloween 1969, a third victim, 29-year-old Helen Patak, was found on Earl Street. Like the previous victims, she spent time as well inside the Barrowland Ballroom. Perhaps due to the reputation that the Barrowland may or may not have got over the previous months, Helen was not alone during her visit. Her sister Jean went with her. Both met men there who identified themselves as John. One said he came from a place called Castlemilk. The other never actually identified where he came from. For over an hour, the four of them enjoyed each other's company. When it was time to leave, Castlemilk John headed for George Square and took a bus home, while the other three shared a taxi. The taxi ride proved crucial in the investigation. That ride provided what little information is available about the man. John was well spoken and quoted many passages from the Bible. The media of the time ran with this and nicknamed their serial killer Bible John. The taxi dropped Jean off at Knightswood before carrying on towards Earl Street. Helen was found the next morning. Her death was the same as the others, but had some differences as well. The contents of her bag were scattered around her body, but the bag itself was missing and remains so to this day. There were signs of a struggle, and Helen had suffered at least one bite from her attacker. Bible John remains one of Scotland's most notorious unsolved serial killers. Plenty of names have been proposed as John's identity. One of the latest, and quite possible the most logical, is Peter Tobin. In 2006, the mutilated body of police student Angelica Kick was discovered beneath the floor of a Glasgow church. Tobin was convicted of the murder, and as time went on, several other murders as well. Tobin spent time with Catholic priests, and he knew the Bible inside and out. His photograph and modus operandi were of significant interest to Joe Jackson, one of the original investigators of the Bible John case. Tobin spent time at the Barrowland and met his future spouse there. The marriage didn't last very long because of Tobin's volatile temper and frequent violence. An image of the elder Tobin is a close match to the identikit of Bible John, but an image of a more youthful Tobin has some convinced that John has been positively identified. The similarities are uncanny. For instance, Tobin relocated to Brighton soon after Helen's murder. The Bible John killings stopped and the case went cold. While living in Brighton, Tobin was incarcerated for a string of burglaries. Some police officers dispute this though. Because of the similarities of John's victims, the consensus is that one killer is responsible. But there were differences to all three victims as well. This could have been a deliberate ploy on the part of the perpetrator, but serial killers often find a method and stick to it. Some say Tobin's religious links are nothing more than coincidence. Another candidate for the Bible John killer is actually a former police officer of the time who retired. Although the author and former police officer Paul Harrison couldn't name his culprit publicly, he did reveal that the suspect is still alive during an interview in 2013. Harrison suggests in his book Dancing with the Devil that Jean McLachlan, Helen's sister, believed the man they shared the taxi with was a police officer. He allegedly showed them a warrant card inside the Barrowland. The other man, calling himself John, is also believed to be a police officer working on an undercover basis. Before her own death in 2010, Jean claimed to have seen John often when she visited Marine Police Station to consider suspects. Bouncers at the Barrowland have independently confirmed Jean's suspicions when a fight broke out involving a well-dressed man. This man produced a warrant card and issued warnings to back off. To this day, the Bible John killings is still unsolved. So, out of all the potential suspects, who do you believe is most likely Bible John? Please do let me know in the comments below, and what are your theories on this. Thank you so much for watching today's video. Take care and stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!